Hi guys, James at Rampant Lion Reviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head over to Finland once again, and that of course means that we're going to have a look at yet another beer from Riku box number 1. So a massive shout out and thank you to Riku Sanaxanaho, one of my Finnish subscribers, who very kindly arranged a box of about 20 or so Finnish beers for me to review here for you on the channel. And we have agreed that we're going to try and do about 2 boxes per year actually. So I send him some money, he sends me the beer across, and of course now he is my Finnish beer mule, so yeah, it's pretty damn good actually. So you will see a steady stream of Finnish beers reviewed on the channel over the coming weeks, months and years, so I really hope that you guys enjoy them, because the beer scene over there really seems to be kicking off at the moment, so it's a very interesting time to be keeping an eye on some Finnish beer. For this review though, we are going to go down to the south of the country and we're going to have a look at another brewery who I haven't tried yet, so quite exciting actually. For this one then, we are going to go to Espoo, which is a little bit to the west of the capital city Helsinki, and we're going to have a look at my first beer from Salama Brewing Company, or Lightning Brewing Company as it would translate to in English. This particular beer is called the Gose Goes to Mars. It comes in at 5% ABV. As the name suggests, this one is a Gose, which as we know already is a kind of salty sour style of beer originating from Germany. So yeah, really curious to see how this one turns out. This one has the Loral hop in it, which is quite an interesting one. It's like quite a sort of amped up noble hop character actually, quite a new one. I think it came out in about 2015, 2016 or something like that. So yeah, this one I think it might be a sort of classic Gose. I'm not quite sure about that, we'll just need to see. But yeah, very very curious to see how this one turns out, and I hope that you guys enjoy my take on this one. Riku had very positive things to say about this brewery, and the beers that he sent me so far, or that we've tried so far from his box I should say, have been very very good. So very much looking forward to trying this one. Cool to try another new brewery for you here on the channel, and I hope that you guys enjoy it, and I do hope as well that you are enjoying the Finnish beer series that we're doing. So yeah, you can check out the Finnish playlist as well and see all the different things that we've done so far, and there are more to come over the next little while. So yeah, let's see how we get on with this one then. So as always with my reviews, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery before we taste the beer. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews that I'll hopefully be able to do in the future from Salama Brewing Company. Very first time I'm trying one of their beers, as I mentioned. There's all the usual social media down there. If you want to see more reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel of course has a geography based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beer based on country, city, state, county, province, prefecture, whatever it is that takes your fancy. Do check out the playlists of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the Finnish beers that I've reviewed for you. That's being added to whenever I get the opportunity, as I said, hopefully a little bit more regularly over the next while. But as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely appreciated. And do in particular let me know some other Finnish breweries that I should ask Riku about as well. So yeah, keep an eye on those for me. But yeah, let's see how we get on with this one then. So on to my brewery notes to tell you a little bit about Salama Brewing Company. So as I've mentioned to you already, Salama Brewing Company are based in Espoo, which is a bit kind of to the west, northwestish of Helsinki, the capital city in southern Finland, and the company was founded back in 2019. I believe they made their debut in around February of 2019 in Brewdog, Helsinki. But the company was founded by a group of friends who have strong roots in Tampere. So the men behind the company are Christian Holmlund, Jaakko Ailio, Johannes Järvinen and Ville Sarikoski. I do apologise for any bad Finnish pronunciations in this video. It's a very difficult language, a very nice sounding language actually. I have to say it's a beautiful language to listen to, but I think when they invented Finnish they must have been, you know, having a competition to see how many vowels you can get in a word. Some of the pronunciations in Finnish are a little bit crazy, but a beautiful language. But yeah, those were the 4 guys behind the company. So Christian is the CEO, and he has a background in running small and medium enterprises, while Jaakko is the brewer and Johannes takes care of the kind of bureaucracy side of the business. Ville, on the other hand, is the art director of the company. He designs all the labels and stuff, and apparently he lives in London, so I think a lot of his work is actually done remotely, but I think he travels to Finland fairly regularly from what I gather. But the brewery is very close to the IKEA and the Jorvi Hospital, which is kind of to the northern part of Espoo, and their brewing equipment, came from China, and they've got a theoretical capacity in the brewery of 130,000 litres of beer per year, but they brewed only around 50,000 litres in the first year. They recently opened up a tap room at the brewery within the last few months, so I'm filming this review for you at the end of June 2020. So very recently they've opened up their tap room, and Jaakko says that they're mainly going to kind of focus on lighter styles of beer. So this is things like the Pale Ale, the IPA, the Double IPA, some sours like this one as well, and there will also be some Imperial Stouts, and they say that they're hoping to do a few barrel aging projects over the next years and things like that. Apparently though, they plan to export around 70% of their beer, and I think a lot of that, in the article that Riku sent me, it was kind of saying that a lot of that is due to the difficulty with the alcohol system, and you know, the limit that they have on alcohol content for the supermarkets and things in Finland. So apparently 70% of the beer that these guys produce will be exported. They are starting to export away out to like China and Japan and America and other places in Europe from what I understand. But as of June 2020, these guys have produced around 50 different kinds of beer according to Untappd. And as I said to you earlier, the name of this brewery translates into English as Lightning Brewing Company. So yeah, that was all the information that I was able to find on this brewery. Riku of course helped me with that. He helps me do some of the searches for articles and things like that when it comes to the Finnish beer reviews, so I thank you to him as well for helping me find the two articles that I used here. But yeah, unfortunately that's all I can tell you about Salama Brewing Company for the moment, but hopefully we can find out a little bit more, and I do hope that I can get to Finland at some point in the next year and have an explore. I've been wanting to go over there for quite a wee while actually, so that's something that's definitely on the list of things to do actually. But yeah, that's all I can tell you just now. If you want to learn more, you can check out the brewery website, you can follow them on Facebook and Instagram to keep up to date with all the latest goings on. You can check out the Rate Beer, Untappd and Beer Advocate pages as well to learn more about all the different beers that these guys have done. So yeah, let's get on and actually have a taste of this beer then. So as you can see, the artwork on this one I have to say is pretty damn good. You can see the beer's been sweating a bit because it is very, very warm here in the Swedish summer. I think it's about 28 degrees outside. It is a bit crazy actually. It's amazing how you know, I don't find it that cold here in the winter, to be fair, because it's not so windy, but the summers that we get are absolutely amazing. Get some really, really nice heat here. But yeah, as you can see, the artwork on this one is just is absolutely lovely, I have to say. But yeah, 5% Gose style beer, this one. There you can see it also has Loral hop in it, which is an American hop. I think it's a Yakima. I can't remember if this is a Yakima or an HBC one, but it's a fairly new hop. I think it was released in around 2015 or so. And it's supposed to be very like the kind of noble ones. It's apparently got quite a distinctive spice to it. I have had Loral a few times before, but I can't really remember too much about it other than that it's quite a spicy kind of floral style things. But I have heard people calling this like a super noble hop actually. But yeah, it should hopefully be a very interesting one, this. But yeah, 5% Gose. It says on the back here, Gose goes to Mars. We at Salama Brewing always look for new ways to expand our markets. For this reason we have decided to launch a space program that aims to serve all extraterrestrial beer drinkers across our galaxy. The first focus group of our program will be the Martians. As the recent research indicates that liquid water in Mars is extremely salty, our marketing department has deducted that Martians must have quite a taste for all things brackish. On this basis, we have concluded that from all our beers, the Martian beer lovers will have the hardest time to resist the briny tang of our luscious Gose, a beer bound to take over the red planet. So yeah, space theme on this one. Yeah, I like that actually. The artwork on this, I have to say, is pretty cool. I'll just wipe the sweat off the can if you like. I don't know how well the camera is going to tape to this one, but I have to say I do like the artwork of this, the kind of space theme. Just tip it a little. Don't know how well you guys are going to be able to see that, but yeah, there we go. Very nicely presented. So yeah, the artwork on some of these beers is very, very cool. But yeah, 5% Gose this one, and by the looks of it, it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't say. It seems to just be, I think this one will be like a straight up Gose. It doesn't have anything added to it. Most Goses that you get these days, of course, have some kind of fruits or whatever added into them. You know, that's very popular to do with the German styles of beer, the Berliner Weisse and the Gose. The more modern breweries tend to do that, but I think this one might be a sort of take on the original style. So and of course one of the original ones that you really should try from Germany if you get the chance is the Ritterguts, which is very, very nice. But yeah, 440ml can, this one. I actually don't know how much this beer was. I think Riku said this was maybe about €5 or €6 for the can. And of course you have to remember with that, Finland is, you know, it's quite expensive, wages are quite high and stuff there, so if you are going to drink Finnish beer, you know, the beers are a little bit more expensive, but then sour beers are always a little bit more pricey because of the, you know, the special care you've got to take with the yeasts and things like that, and quite often they're barrel aged as well, so yeah, sour beers are a little bit more pricey and things, but yeah, 440ml can this one, 5% Gose, and yeah, it does look as if it's going to be like an original, kind of, you know, a straight up Gose beer this. So yeah, that should be enough just now. I think we've got about 2/3 of it out of the can and into the glass. So yeah, as you can see with this one, it's poured a lovely kind of pale golden straw colours, but the same colours like a Pils or a Helles or something like this, which is normal for the Gose style of beer. The way that they used to make these was they put, you know, they put the salt in them, and then they used to put them in the bottles, put the salt, put the yeast in the bottle, and then of course it would fluff up and you'd get basically a big kind of cloud of foam in the cellar, and that would be your Gose style beer. It would be like bits of wild yeast would land in the foam and ferment the beers, and that's how they got the kind of sour quality that they did. That was how the Gose beer originated. They're from pretty much somewhere right in the kind of central north part of Germany, if I remember rightly. I forget the name of the exact village where those beers are from. If you want to learn about the history of the Gose style, you should check out my Rittergut's Gose review, as I said. So yeah, but this one looks very, very nice, I have to say. So yeah, you know, pale golden straw colour, which is exactly what you could expect. You could see that there was a solid finger of a frothy white head there. That's faded away to be, you know, almost a thin foamy layer now. You know, that is just going to be a thin foamy layer in a minute or two, but one or two big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, a few smaller ones going up towards the bottom of the head there, but you know, overall it does look pretty damn nice, I have to say. A little touch of haze to the beer, but I think that could partially be due to the kind of condensation on the glass, but yeah, let's have a look at the aroma then and see how we go. Nothing overly surprising about this beer when you consider that it's a sort of straight up version of a Gose, so yeah. Ooh, that does smell very nice actually. So yeah, straight away with this one, you get that lovely kind of pale malty, white bready kind of quality out of this one. I do wonder if there's a bit of Munich malt in this. It has a little bit of a kind of distinctive Munich type quality to it, I have to say. So yeah, quite a big white German bready quality there. I do miss that about living in Germany. I loved going to the bakeries in Heidelberg. It was awesome. Used to love that, having a good pretzel every day. But yeah, the white bready notes you get out of this are very, very distinctive. It's definitely got a bit of that almost Munich malt quality to it. But I don't know, maybe they use malts from like Weiermann in Bamberg or something like that. Not sure exactly what they'll be using. Perhaps in Finland, as in Sweden, there are some malteries over there. I'm not quite sure. They could even be importing malt from Sweden, who knows. But yeah, the aroma to this one, I have to say, is really nice. It's very kind of straight up. The thing with the Gose, of course, it's not the most kind of pungent of beers usually. It's sour beers, I always find the aromas, some of them can be very nice and sweet right enough, but I don't find them to be the most pungent and complex of things. They're usually very kind of straight up actually, and this one to me strikes me as a very nice and kind of fresh beer, I have to say. So yeah, you've got a bit of that pale malty kind of character, then you get the sort of the slightly thicker bready notes out of it, a bit of Munich malt perhaps. You can pick out the saltiness just coming into that. There's maybe a wee touch of a biscuity, you know, there is a little bit of a kind of almost biscuity sweetness to this one, like a McVitie's digestive type biscuity quality, but then it really gets quite salty. It's bready and salty, to be honest with you, the aroma that you get out of the malt base in this one, and there's not too much more to report on the aroma than that. Yeah, I'll definitely stick with that. It's maybe got a little bit of a kind of slightly bread, the more you kind of sugar it up and the more you smell it, it maybe gets a little bit more kind of bread crusty, like a very slight sort of brown bready type vibe, but yeah, mainly pale malt, bit of that Munich-y white bready type malt, a little bit of a kind of brown bready malt in there as well, maybe a wee touch of a McVitie's digestive biscuity sort of thing, but then you really get the kind of saltiness just taking over the middle of your nose there, I have to say. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty much straight up, as I say. This is it's got a little bit more hoppy character than I think you'd find from a German brewed Gose, a traditional German brewed Gose, but you know, it's but yeah, it's nice, this actually. It is a very traditional, the aroma comes across pretty much what you would expect if you know this style. And I have to say, the Gose is a style that I don't know all that well actually, so I am making an effort on the channel to review more modern Goses, and I'd love to review a few more of the kind of traditional German ones as well. So to get a Finnish one, I think, is a nice change of pace for the channel actually. So yeah, nice kind of straight up malty base to this one, just bready, bit salty, a little bit biscuity, kind of what you'd expect. On the hoppy side of things, there is a little touch of earthiness comes out of this one. I do suspect, pardon me, that there probably is one of the German noble hops in there along with the Loral, because the earthiness, the Loral, like I said, is an American hop, and the American hops of course are, you know, pretty big and pretty bold if you like, but there is a little bit of that distinctive kind of nice and almost slightly sweet German earthiness. So there's maybe a little bit, you know, it could be the Hallertau or the Tettnangers, the original ones, it could be like the Pearl or the Hercules or something like that, you know, something a little bit stronger. And there might be maybe one like the Pearl or the Hercules or something in this one along with the Loral actually. But yeah, you do get quite a nice, slightly spicy floral aromaticity out of this one, which will be the Loral. Nice little bit of a lighter kind of grassy quality in there. And you've also got, there is a nice little bit of a citrusy edge to this one. You can get a little bit of that kind of zesty, lemony quality out of this one, which is really quite nice. I like how this, I do like how this goes together. The aroma of this one is very, very nice actually. So yeah, take a bit of time and just you know, and enjoy the aroma here. I mean, it's, if you know this style, it has everything you'd expect. As I say, you expect a bit of biscuitiness, a bit of bread. Well, biscuitiness I'm not sure, but you expect a bit of breadiness, good bit of saltiness, some kind of grassy floral hops, and then maybe a little bit of a lemony citrusy type zest out of it. And this one has all of that. There's maybe a wee bit of a kind of appley. Yeah, there's maybe a little bit of a kind of appley sharpness to this one, along with the kind of lemony citric zest. Yeah. Yeah, there's a little bit of that in this one, and maybe the more you smell it, the more you take in that aroma, it does get a little bit kind of juicier, I would say. So maybe, yeah, the kind of appley notes you get out of this one get a little bit more kind of juicy and things like that. You'll maybe get a wee tiny hint of like, you know, sort of, it's not even the same as gooseberry, but it's got a little bit of that kind of softer gooseberry type-ish note about it. But yeah, mainly the fruity side of things, it's a lemony kind of citricy zest, and a little bit of an almost kind of appley quality coming out of it. But yeah, the aroma of this one is like a very kind of straight up kind of traditional German style Gose actually. So yeah, take a bit of time and enjoy the aroma of this one. The Loral's definitely given it a nice little bit of a kind of citrusy zest actually, and it's got a good little bit of spiciness from the American Loral hops as well. But let's have a taste of this one then and see how we get on. This one is the Gose Goes to Mars, a 5% Gose style beer from Salama Brewing Company in Espoo in southern Finland. Thank you again to Riku for making this review possible, and I hope that you guys are enjoying the Finnish beer series. Let's get stuck in. Slange, skål, keep peace. Yeah, that is very just, you know, kind of straight up actually. Yeah, I like that. I mean, I would be willing to bet, just going from this one, the Gose style of beer, this one's really nice the way it sort of smoothens out and becomes more bready and salty in the aftertaste. It's what I like. I mean, it takes your mouth a few sips to kind of adjust to this one, as it is the case with any sour beer. When you take it in, it's always quite, you know, citricy and a little bit tart and sharp and things like that. But this one really smooths out very, very nicely actually. I like how this goes together. This is a very, very drinkable Gose, I think, come to think of it. So yeah, the thing you can tell with this, it is very, very authentic. From what I remember of the Rita Goods Gose, this one, it has a lot of the same kind of flavour profile, which is exactly what you want from a more traditional Gose. But it's just, it feels a little bit cleaner, and this is one of the things. I always think that when you have these beer styles from different parts of the world, it's always the water profile can affect the beer so much. So again, as you quite often get with Nordic beers, this one feels very, very clean, almost because, you know, you get good quality water, and here in Sweden or back home in Scotland, you know, Finland of course, will have very good quality water as well actually. But yeah, the flavour of this beer is pretty nice. It is very, very straight up, this one. I mean, the traditional Gose is not the most complex of beers, let's just say that, but they are designed to be quite nice and drinkable, and I think the salt kind of helps you with that. The salt does make you a little bit more kind of thirsty and things. But yeah, the thing that we should always rate these beers on is the level of authenticity, and they've got this one pretty down actually. I'd always say the same about Pilsners or Dunkels, Doppelbox and things like that. The way that we rate these beers is on how authentic they are, and I think that Salama have got this pretty much bang on, so well done to them for this. I don't know how difficult a style this is to brew. I know that Pilsners and lager beers, because of the low temperature fermentations, those can be very difficult to brew. Gose, I'm not sure actually. Can't remember what temperature you ferment one of these at, but yeah, they've got the flavour profile here spot on. So let's try and break this down a little bit then. The thing you're really going to notice about this beer is that it comes in with quite a little bit of kind of not tartness, yeah, a little bit of sharpness, and then it takes a few sips for the kind of breadiness of the beer to really come out, and you get a lot of flavour out of this one on the aftertaste. For me, the kind of focus of this beer, the flavour really kind of picks up as you go further into the aftertaste, so it has a kind of interesting impact, this one. But yeah, further you go into the aftertaste, the more kind of bready and smooth it starts to get, so I like that. So yeah, when you take this one in, you've got a lovely little bit of kind of sharpness at the kind of front of your palate, and then the kind of middle third of your tongue and the back third of your tongue, it's just blanketed with this lovely kind of smooth white bready type quality. As I said, I always used to enjoy the German bakeries, and I think there might be a combination of maybe pale malt in this one, a little bit of Munich malt maybe, and it could well have a little bit of wheat to it, because it is actually very, very smooth. I don't know if it says, usually the Swedish ones, yeah, this one does have wheat in it. That's right, yeah, so it does have a little bit of wheat in it. That would explain the smoothness that you're getting out of this one. So yeah, that lovely kind of smooth bready quality that you're getting out of this one. It's particularly nice and smooth, and it almost gets a bit sweet actually towards the back of the palate there. But yeah, that wheaty, what is obviously now a kind of wheaty smoothness, that quality to this beer is really nice. So you'll feel that the breadiness just kind of thickens up in this beer as you go further into the palate. But yeah, or into the aftertaste, like. But yeah, the wheaty smoothness you get out of this is really quite nice. I'd say that's what maybe sets this beer apart a little bit. I remember the German ones, the traditional German ones don't tend to have the wheat in them, so the breadiness isn't quite as bold as this almost. But yeah, I like how that goes together in this one. So yeah, as I say, middle third of your palate and the back third of your palate, it's a pale malt base. On top of that you get some of the nice thicker white bready note, and then on top of that you get the kind of wheaty smoothness, if you like, and that gradually sweetens up the further you go into the aftertaste. In the middle of your palate you've got a little bit of a kind of biscuity sweetness there. It has got a little bit of an almost McVitie's digestive kind of vibe to it, and as you go further out from the centre of the palate, it does gradually get a little bit more kind of biscuity and grainy, I think. So I like how that I do like how that goes together. In the back corners of the palate then, if we move on to the hoppy side of the beer, that's the malt base pretty much covered. In the back corners of the palate there's a little bit of that soft kind of earthiness there. As I say, I suspect there's something else in here along with the Loral, because you do have a little bit of that distinctive, quite light and bright German noble earthiness to it. So there could be something like Hallertau, Tittnang or Pearl Hercules in this beer. But yeah, as you come further forward, the earthiness kind of gradually gives way, it fades away a little bit. The earthiness almost builds a good bridge with the wheaty side of the beer. But yeah, as you come further forward, you'll feel as you just reach the front corners of your palate, it's got a very nice kind of floral, spicy, aromatic quality out of this one. Then round the very front curve of the tongue, it's a little bit lighter and more grassy actually, which is very, very nice. So behind the front curve of the palate, you've got that you've got the front third of your tongue obviously, but that's where the nice oily bubble where the juicy fruits come out of the beer, and this is where this one I think gets really interesting. So yeah, like I said, when you take this beer in, you get a nice little bit of that kind of lemony, citricy note and things, the kind of tannins and all this coming out in the beer. But yeah, you get this kind of nice tart, citricy, lemony quality as you take the beer in, but then it just juicens out as you go further into the aftertaste. So you get the sharpness initially, then the breadiness starts to build, and you can feel the fruity part of the beer just rolling out over that kind of front third of the tongue. So I do like how that goes together in this one. The beer, it does have a little bit of an almost appley quality. I think it gets more appley the further you go into the aftertaste. If you go to the back of that front third of your tongue, there is a little bit of an appley quality lingering there. There is a wee bit of an almost peary, gooseberry-ish type ester evolves out of this one as well, and that's interesting. Actually, it has this almost kind of goose. I think it is actually more gooseberry-like than it is peary, to be honest with you. So yeah, mainly, as I say, lemony and citric when you take it in, and that lingers a bit into the aftertaste. You get a bit more of an appley quality towards the back of that front third of the tongue, and then you get a few almost gooseberry. It's almost like the front third of your tongue is kind of gooseberry-like and slightly oily at the you know, for the first part of the beer. So I like how that goes together in this one. I like how this whole vibe of the beer is. But yeah, I think, as I say, this one is very straight up and kind of authentic in a lot of ways. It's the wheat and the kind of presence of the wheat, the almost kind of smooth sweetness that the wheat gives you, that's very interesting. So the salty part of the beer, that's the thing we've not really mentioned yet, the elephant in the room. So yeah, you can feel with this beer, if you just go behind that front third of the tongue, it's almost between the border of the front third of the tongue and the middle third of the tongue. That's where you get this, you do get a kind of almost pile of like bready stuff, but you can feel the kind of saltiness of this beer. It kind of, the saltiness for me kind of sits around the edge of the malty side of the palate. You can kind of feel it creep forward into the fruity part of the tongue as well. So the saltiness does kind of linger there, but the further you go into the aftertaste, it gets more kind of smooth and wheaty, almost a bit sweet. The saltiness lingers there, and you get that kind of gooseberry-ish, peary type ester coming out of this one, but with a little bit of a kind of lemony, citricy sort of thing as well. So I really like how that how this beer just kind of pieces together. The way everything goes together in this one, I think, is very, very nice. So yeah, take a little bit of time and just enjoy that for you. I think that's a fairly comprehensive description of the flavour in this one and how everything evolves. But this is a solid Gose, this one. It's the wheaty notes that make it a little bit unique, in my opinion. On the in terms of the mouthfeel then, yeah, kind of, I mean, it's quite a mid-bodied beer. I think this is one of the more oily Goses that I've come across. It really evolves to be a little bit more oily, I think. But yeah, a little bit more oily compared to some of the other ones, so I think it's at the bottom end of mid-bodied. This one, the Gose, of course, is not the heaviest style of beer that you're going to come across. The carbonation is very smooth in this one. It feels a little bit oily, but really quite clean at the same time. In terms of IBUs and stuff, you know, I'd be surprised if you've got even 10 IBUs out of this beer. I'd be very, very surprised if it's more than that. You've got a good little bit of saltiness there, which is nice. The malt base is really kind of smooth. It does get a little touch sweet. And it's a wheaty sweetness, which is quite interesting as well. But so it does get a little bit sweeter the further you go into the aftertaste, and you've got a nice little bit of that kind of citrusy, juicy, sort of fruity character coming out of this one. So yeah, I really like how everything in this beer kind of pieces together, actually. So a big thumbs up from me. The Gose goes to Mars. They've done a solid job on this one, so I'd be very curious to see what some of their other sour beers are like. I'd love to try an IPA and a stout from these guys and just see what it's like. So I maybe need to see if Riku can get a hold of some of the other ones for me, but I think he said that this brewery is a little bit difficult to get a hold of. I think he only got these Salama ones because, you know, through his friend, actually. So yeah, I think that's the only reason he managed to get a hold of these. But yeah, we'll see. Hopefully we can do some more from Salama Brewing Company at some point in the future. But I really enjoyed reviewing this one for you. Always nice to have a kind of traditional German type Gose, and this is a very nice example of the style. A little bit more wheaty, I think, though, than some of the ones you will find in Germany, but it gets a big thumbs up from me. So yeah, this definitely makes me curious to try more of the Salama Brewing beers, so we'll see about that in the future. But yeah, let's leave it at that for this one. Once again, thank you for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comment section below. Let me know what your favourite beers are from Salama Brewing as well. Hopefully we can return to these guys pretty soon. Do give me some other Finnish beer and brewery recommendations, and I'll speak to Riku and see what we can do. But yeah, it's been awesome to review my first beer from Salama Brewing Company. I hope you guys have enjoyed it, and we will see about returning to these guys very, very soon. The Gose goes to Mars, a lovely Gose beer coming in at 5% ABV, really nice and traditional in German, just a little bit more wheaty than others. So thank you again for watching, and I will catch you guys soon. Slanja, skål, keep us, make sure you check out Salama Brewing Company from Espoo in the south of Finland. Cheers.